I knew also, selfishly enough, if I came to your wedding, it gave me a reason to live, and it kind of gives you like, hey, I have cancer and this sucks, but this is my brother, and I got to keep living, and I got to live to be his brother.
Isn't that amazing? That's amazing, brother. All my respect to you. That is just you don't find many more badass stories than that. And I use this analogy all the time. Like when I was a wrestler, I knew this wrestler that knew 3 takedown moves, 3 moves from the bottom, 3 moves from the top, 3 moves escapes. And that's all he knew. And now in wrestling, anybody that wrestles know that there's thousands of moves out there. But he knew those so well, you couldn't stop him.
If you want to support the show and you want to help us get better lights and cameras and better microphones, go ahead and jump on the Patreon. Patreon.com/Team Seabass, all right? Go ahead and kick it off, guys.
People got to talk about the lighting, but I'm telling you, the last show we did, which was a pretty somber show, it was meant to be a little dark. So put that in your comment box.
Yeah, I have a little bit different attitude this show,
buddy,
than I did last time.
Because I'm telling you, today it's all about light and goodness, because we are all going to be firing it up later tonight.
Because last time I was ready to get in somebody's ass. Well, I mean, I didn't give a fuck who it was either. If you had purple hair, you were going to the deck.
Well, and you'd have deserved it. So here we go, man. Here we go. We got a distinguished guest with us today. And we are overdue for guests, and it warms my heart to have one of my mentors, the Signal Hill Warrior himself, Mr. Chip Hampshire. Chip, welcome to West Virginia, and welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, man. I've been looking forward to this for months. At the expense of my stepdaughter's family weekend, I gaffed that off, and I'm here because it means a lot to sit with you and Bo. I've been watching what you guys do. Obviously, we all work together at a far-away place in a far-away time, but hopefully we're going to cut up on a lot of good subjects.
And now we're all here, safe, in the United States of America, in Bodette Holler, West Virginia.
It don't get no better than this.
It don't get much better than
About
this.
40 pounds of arthritis between us.
I'd say fucking 50 pounds of arthritis, buddy. Okay. Buddy, I walk in and it smelled like Blue Emu and Copenhagen.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I want to talk about? First of all, I want to go straight to this book. Tell me about this book you wrote.
Ooh.
That's what I want to talk about first.
Yeah, lot to unpack here. I'll just quickly give you the 60-second story. Grew up humble beginnings. My dad was a forklift driver. He's a former Marine, by the way. Air Wing administrator, reservist, so don't hold that against me. Love my dad. He stepped up, he served, but that was his job. And humble beginnings, dad drove a forklift, mom worked at a forklift company. I would say we were lower middle class, and really just I probably went through more than the average kid as a young man. Abuse, and really just like a lot of survivor moments. And my dad's challenge to me was, well, you won't make it as a Marine, you won't make it. And then day after high school, left for Paris Island.
How'd that work out for him?
Yeah, I made it 20 years, and poetically, my dad passed away 6 days after I retired, so he didn't even get to see me retire, which is a whole nother thing. I don't have daddy issues, but I'm just saying.
But you started off as a private.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So take us through that.
Yeah, started off as a private security forces option. Didn't know I was signing the paper for really infantry, and I remember getting my MOS, and they're like, Hampshire machine gunner, and I'm like, whoa, Jack, I'm a security guard.
Whoa, Jack,
I'm a security. They told me rappelling, swimming.
0331, you made it.
Yeah, so go to Camp Geiger, study under one Sergeant Leathers, and Salmons was there. I think he became a gunner.
Yep.
And then went to security forces school, England. 2.6 SOI, and then commissioned over the dark side. In the middle.
The dark side meaning
officer.
Yep. Officer. He became an officer, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Don't hold it against me. I loved it.
I'm the only one here sitting here right now that did not drop his pack. I stayed enlisted.
Now listen, you get 2 types of prior enlistment.
At ease. Let's talk. We're talking about the captain here.
Okay. All right. So went through 8 months of chemo, radiation, cancer. Marine Corps said, nope, you got to get out. My colonel ripped up the paper, said, nope, we're commissioning you. Commissioned, became an MP officer, and led Marines in OIF 2 TAC 2, the 2nd Fallujah, and then went and did some Afghanistan time as an IA and wound up retiring in 2012. And like I said, I quit the booze about 4 years ago. And a lot of that stuff is in there, and really I'll close with this. being an infantryman changed my life. And
You are you're a walking miracle. Yeah. And not really. I don't see it as a miracle. I mean, you had to bust your fucking ass.
Yeah.
You know, and you had to overcome a lot of shit. So I'm ashamed to say that I have not read this book yet, but I damn sure am gonna. Signal Hill Warrior, a boy from King of Prussia, Captain Charles M. Hampshire III, United States Marine Corps retired.
You know,
there it is again.
And I think what's really cool when you learn this from people, anybody that steps on the yellow footprints doesn't step there because they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth.
Yeah,
that's some hard, humble beginnings. And I think people have a thirst for the good life that grow up in a situation. It's great if you can grow up in a house of love, but I think we all kind of come from a little bit of the cloth of we all came from a house of where we had to survive.
Look, when you go down to Paris Island, when you say, you know what, I think I want to be a United States Marine. Okay, now that does something to it. You look at a person and say, who in the fuck would want to do that? Now, sure, I want to wear dress blues and shit, look cool, but most people won't do that because they ain't got the balls to go down to Paris Island. So it takes a special person to go down there. But some people that go down there, they are at the end of their fucking rope. Yep. Okay? They're at the end of their rope, and they know that, look, if I can survive this and I can accomplish this, the world is my fucking oyster.
Yeah. One of the best blessings of my life is, and I know everybody's heard the story of Private Knight encountering Sergeant Bodette at the School of Infantry, learning not to be a pussy and to suck it up and just grind. I show up at the School of Infantry, and I'm kicking ass in one of the letter companies doing good work, and they're like, Sergeant Knight, you're going up.
You showed up as an instructor.
Showed up as an instructor. Yeah. And the shining example of instructors at the School of Infantry was the SOI Instructor of the Year, Sergeant Charles Hampshire. So I think they kind of up at Weapons Company kind of did a little draft. They're like, who do we want to pull from one of the companies to come up here? And they're like, we want Sergeant Knight. So I luck out, and I get over there, and I end up working with Chip. And what was great about that is this is the first Marine I met that, like, taught me how to teach and how to deliver and make sense. Like, I was good while I was in Bravo, but somebody that really showed me the way, it's like, man.
All three of us here were SOI instructors. That's we know them instructors that just want to get the shit done, get off the fucking platform, get the fucking kids out of there and go home, right? Yep. I guarantee none of us three were like that.
No.
That's why people still talk about us, not bragging, but I'm proud of the fact that people still look at us at our time at the School of Infantry because I studied my craft. I learned more at the School of Infantry as an instructor than I ever did in the fleet because I studied my craft because I was guaranteed I was not going to stand on that platform and a kid ain't going to be able to ask me a question I can't answer.
So one of my first, if I may, one of my first favorite memories of working with JC, I mean, JC was wild. I mean, he still is. He's bigger than life sometimes. And I remember we were cleaning weapons in them ratty old buildings. I think it was heavy guns we were cleaning. And one of the privates, like, smart-mouthed me, a little smart thing. J.C. Knight clears the whole table of weapons parts. We're talking Mark 19 parts, the vertical cam. Is it vertical drive assembly? Had that little chrome edge you weren't supposed to nick.
The ogive plunger.
Yeah, all that stuff. And I'm just watching all these parts hit the floor, and JC's, like, flying over the steel table at this guy, like, trying to grab his neck. And all I could think about, you ever seen those cop shows where they have, like, the rookie cop that's the wild one, and you got the older cop that's like, you see it in, like, Goodfellas, I think, of, like, Nicky. You were like, Nicky, and I was like, man, I got to temper this a little bit because
sometimes Marines just need to go to the deck.
It's funny that
we're Marines. Okay, they're Marines too by the time they're at SOI. So look here. I mean, bottom line is this, man. We don't work for Bob's fucking big boy. We're going to go kill people, and they're going to try to kill us. So guess what? We ain't got time for no smart mouths, no sass, as JC would say.
No, and I'm just lucky that in my path that I encounter both Chip and Bo to help me along my way. So I'm eternally grateful. But man, Chip really showed me the ropes of how to be a teacher. And really, he was the first, great sergeant that I ever got to be around. I came from a unit where there was, like, an age gap between corporal and staff sergeant. We just didn't have, power hitter sergeant. Right. I showed up, and Chip wasn't a pushover, knew how to deliver information, knew how to be the example. Like, that's an infantry sergeant right there.
Let me tell you something. everybody's scared of a good sergeant.
They are.
Everybody. It don't matter what rank you are. If you're a good sergeant, and see, you're not a staff at Joe yet, right? But they kind of like cannot hold you accountable in that way, but they know you can do that job. Especially other staff sergeants are intimidated by you, you know, and you're damn not you're not a corporal anymore, so you're supposed to know more. You're supposed to be the senior NCO.
So let me ask you guys. I'm gonna go fire the first shot here. Rip the Band-Aid off. You guys are closer to the Corps than I am now, believe it or not, because I've left. I won't say I left. I'm in the civilian world, like far out on the island on the civilian world.
Well, I was too, and JC kind of brought me back into that.
Okay,
but
you hear a lot of old timers, us now included, or even guys that are older than us that did their time, say, "Oh, the Corps is weaker now. The Corps is weaker." But then you hear guys say, "No, it's not weaker. You've just evolved. You've changed as a man. You got high standards." Guys, is the Corps in good hands? Is it weaker? Like, what's strong and not strong about it from what you guys have seen?
Well, I'm going to tell you, we visited 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines, and just visited 2nd Mardiv 6 months ago, and I went to 3-6, and it was everything that would make me proud about being a Marine, and it was everything that made me proud about being an infantryman.
I'm going to tell you, it depends on their goddamn leadership. Does it not, JC?
It does.
You know, people say, I can walk through some infantry units and go, God, these motherfuckers ain't worth a shit. What the fuck happened to the Marine Corps? And then we go over to 3-6 that one day.
Fucking magic.
And it was magical. I mean, I was like, fuck yeah.
The battalion commander, the gunner, the sergeant major, like, JC Bo, come on in.
I'm like, hey, give me my fucking uniform back, motherfucker. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Right.
I'm like, fuck yeah, these motherfuckers are badass.
And the NCOs engaged you. The lieutenants weren't acting weird. It was like,
right.
You knew you were in a good place.
But it was leadership.
I think the new SecDef and the way that our military is going, if it was going the wrong direction, right. I definitely think it's heading back in the right direction.
I know for a fact we were going in the wrong direction. Anybody that has ever served in no shit combat will tell you we were going in the wrong direction. But we didn't get all that way. Right. Thank God. So now the pendulum is starting to swing back to where it's all about the warfighter again.
So they got the guys that you guys served with in Iraq and Afghanistan are probably now senior staff NCOs, I would imagine,
shit.
Right?
Colonels,
sergeant majors, a lot of them, some gunners, retired.
So I imagine a lot of that experience didn't die on the vine.
No.
It's still out there. And those are the guys that I knew that were successful as lieutenants and captains that are now lieutenant colonels, and in some cases brigadier generals, right?
Right.
Those guys have carried that forward. I think we're getting back to a time where we're not wasting men and women's time with bullshit.
Right, right.
You know, esprit de corps, zero your service rifle, be physically fit, right? You know,
masculine.
Yeah. Nobody likes a pussy, right?
Be a warrior. Be a warrior.
Be a warrior.
Be a warrior.
You're going to fight your nation's battles. And we have a Marine Corps that is designed around the 30,000 close combat troops that are grunts, engineers, scouts, or condos. Those are the guys that do the last 100 yards. Right. That's why we have the Marine Corps we have. But I will tell you, it always warms my heart, Chip, when I see guys that are in command now at the 05 and 06 level, and you've been in command of Marines. It makes me happy that I see guys that I know legally and effectively run in the gray. That push it to the edge, because there is absolutely the letter of the law, which I think people get crazy to following. But I think we've got some great Marines out there that are combat vets that know how to blend the art with the science, and I think our Corps is healthy. I think it's in good shape, and I think it's going to be okay, man.
That's good to hear, because that's what I've suspected all along. I mean, I've been out for 15, gosh, I can't even think now, 13 years, and I still have some contacts, even some officers that I trained when I was at TBS, and I hear and see nothing but good things. But sometimes it's hard to, just like the news, like your guys' podcast, like what do you take as fact or fiction? It's so hard sometimes to know what is true, you know, because you hear things.
Well, if I talk about it, it's because I've either seen it or fucking done it. You know, like take for example when I was a drill instructor. People are like, "Oh, it ain't like it was back when I was a drill instructor. It ain't like back when I was a recruit." I got news for you. I train my recruits just like my drill instructors trained me. And I'll guarantee you my recruits train their recruits when they became drill instructors just like I trained them. You know, we just have to be careful. We can't be stupid, you know, but we got to be hard. We got to be fair. You know, we're not in the goddamn Air Force.
Yeah. Kids are still getting trained. And
they are.
You know, we talk about this. you know, we were DIs 20 some years ago, and I don't want to go down the DI path, but I used to have guys that had never led a lot of Marines until they were drill instructors, and then they were leading recruits.
That's right.
All you grunts like to do is just teach. Well, guess what, motherfucker?
That's your job, motherfucker.
You can be a guy that's not a pussy, and you can teach. And guess what? Your Marines will be better for it. So if you're down there, do that.
But you gotta find that happy medium, you know, to where you're not overly gentle while you teach, but you still got to teach.
Somebody's gonna sweat.
Look, you're gonna get strong too.
Look, I'll be right there kicking some knowledge all day long, but a kid's gonna be in the front leading rest if he done fucked around.
And he gonna learn.
He's gonna learn.
And it probably save his life.
He probably will.
But no, let's stop, everybody. We got to take from 1400 to 1630. We got DEI classes. Yeah, tell me how that helps.
Or we're gonna
kid stay alive.
Or we're gonna go do a fill in the blank assault prevention or that motorcycle safety, tobacco cessation.
Yeah.
So do you guys, shifting gears a little bit, I got a question for you guys because I got a bunch of stacked infantry questions because I think you guys are a lot closer.
Fire away.
Fire away. Here we go. Thinking about, and we're not going to talk about when we pulled out of Afghanistan. I think we all have similar feelings on that, but like the way they pulled out. But that now is a long time ago. Are we retaining those lessons from Afghanistan then when Afghanistan you guys were there and because I think we were in Iraq the same year, like 03, 04, 05-ish, and I think about how much warfare has changed. Even like we're flying drones now into bunkers. I think, Bo, you remember this. What was that ambush range over by 17? There was an ambush. Remember, it was like or not an ambush range. It was fortified position, attack on fortified position range.
L5.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was.
But long story short, I remember we used to train to clear trenches, and it's like, man, that's 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Is it going to come around? Is it drone warfare? So I'm really interested in your guys' thoughts on.
Look. Hey, I'll tell you right now. You talk about trench warfare. Go to Ukraine right now. Yeah. They're fighting in trenches.
Yeah, with overhead cover.
Yep. They're fighting in trenches, and you just got to adapt. You got to adapt. You got to improvise. Warfare is going to change all the time, but it's all going to come back to the bullets and putting a fucking goddamn guy on that piece of fucking property and saying this is mine.
I went to a big trade show a couple months ago. And it was focused on the Marine Gunner Symposium. So a lot of Marine Gunners. The Marine Gunners were there, right? There were probably 6 or 7 UAS companies. So UAS is a real thing. There's 2 schools of thought. I think some people think that UAS is a supporting arm, and there's others that think UAS is a complement to your current existing supporting arms. So, like for instance, I've seen guys over in the Ukraine run a UAS up, and I watched them walk in a Mark 19 on some Russian mercenaries, and I watched them die a slow, painful death. Right. So I think you're going to get one or two versions of that.
Look, it's like anything, man. It's a tool, and it just depends how you use it. Yeah. It's a tool, And
I think it's great. You've got to adapt. You got to grow with it. But what happens when we come up with something like an EMP or a radio frequency that drops all that shit out?
Oh, I'm sure we got it.
Yeah.
We're
eventually going to get to a spot where.
It's going to come down to the rifleman. Every fucking time. You can have all the best shit in the world. Come down to the rifleman.
You're always going to have a guy that does the last 100 yards.
That's it, no matter what.
You've either got to cover it with a boot or you've got to cover it with fire.
That's it. Let me keep my frontal assault here on JC and Bo. What did you guys see change in the infantry from like 2004? Because I think we were there at the same time in Iraq, and then you guys were in some heavy stuff in Afghanistan. Did you guys see the tactic shift because of what you learned, or like what the whole Corps was learning, or did you just have to adapt to the enemy? Because JC shares some crazy stories from Afghanistan.
I remember we were in Afghanistan, and we were with this one unit, and we got in this big firefight. And all the Marines that I was with did their basic fucking infantry shit. Just basic skills. They're right out of SOI. And after that firefight was over, I remember this guy from this other unit, it wasn't a Marine unit, says, compared to us, as you were, he said, compared to y'all, we ain't shit. We ain't shit compared to y'all. And I said, I know. We're Marine infantry.
This was another.
Listen, it boils down to the basics. You can be as high speed as you want, and I use this analogy all the time. Like when I was a wrestler, I knew this wrestler that knew 3 takedown moves, 3 moves from the bottom, 3 moves from the top, 3 moves, escapes. And that's all he knew. And now in wrestling, anybody that wrestles know that there's thousands of moves out there. But he knew those so well, you couldn't stop him. And we knew it was coming.
He was a master at all of them.
He was a master at the basics. And that's the way I look at infantry, and that's what I tried to preach to my Marines. Be the master at the basics. Everything else will come, and everything else will fall in place because you're a Marine. You're taught to adapt and to overcome and to adjust, right? Take initiative. You know, that comes from your first day in boot camp.
You know, I think when you say that, I think about last night. Creep alert here. I slept in a state park in the back of my truck, but it was really just to get away, do some fishing, this, that, and the other. And I was telling JC on the way out, getting back to the infantry thing and how we were brought up. When I went to bed last night, all my stuff was ready to go in case I had to go in the middle. Like I knew where everything was.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm 51.
I still do that.
I'm an executive with a company, and I'm packing my house, my stuff's like a bivouac.
Right.
And Bo, I look around here, all these deer, and I'm like, how many of these deer did you have to sit out there in 30-degree weather, getting you're wet as hell, you're cold as hell, and you're just waiting? And that discipline, I think we all have from our time in the infantry, and that's what I write
no
about
doubt
here.
about it.
That got me through open heart surgery, through cancer, through just the lows of my life, knowing, like, remember the Platoon quote? Charlie Sheen says something like, a grunt can take anything, Grandmom. He's, like, writing a little letter in the beginning. And I think that's what us three have in common, and one thing I'm most proud of my time in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I mean, I still do that same thing. You know, like I know exactly where my pistol is by my bed. Yeah. You know, I know exactly where my boots are. I know exactly where everything is. You know, when I got to get to it. You know, and that's exactly right. That's from being a Marine.
Yeah, dude. It just comes back to being able to do simple things well. And you know, I've used this quote 1,000 times, and I will use it all the time because it's one of the most effective quotes I've ever heard. And it's not from some philosopher; it's from my buddy Mike Gray. And Mike Gray always says, he goes,
smart man.
He goes, proficiency is the coin of the realm. And what he really means by that, and we've talked about this, is if you know your trade, it gives you the gift of allowing you to be you. I don't have to be mean because the Corps expects me to be mean, or if I'm an officer, I have to be a complete nerd because I'm an officer. If I know what I'm doing, I get to be me. You know, and it is the greatest gift in itself. So proficiency is the coin of realm. And look, I'll tell you right now, it is an honor to sit here. I certainly wasn't one of 37, 39 sergeants as an infantry instructor, and I certainly wasn't the SOI instructor of the year, but both of you guys were. So that's special, right? I mean, I learned from the best.
Out of all my time in the Marine Corps, to include drill instructor and all that, except for when I was in combat as a company gunnery sergeant with Marines, me at SOI was the most important job I'd ever had. And I took it serious, you know, because I knew they were going to fight with me one day.
I think when we get our comments offline, that Seabass gets our comments, we get probably just as many or more comments of being like, you guys were my SOI instructors.
Right, yeah,
than I do about, I mean, look, I'm proud of my DI time, but I get a lot about being an infantryman,
right,
you know?
Right.
That job, I'm glad they made that a special duty because, listen, whatever people...
See, it wasn't when I was there.
And whatever people want to say, you know, our Marine Corps exists because of our infantry.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
Period. It's the only reason it exists.
They don't damn sure exist because of our chow halls and our barracks.
Now, listen, Sodexo needs to step their game up a little bit. Motherfuckers probably still ain't right. I remember going into chow hall, and look, I used to love doing this, man. I used to love doing this. I'd walk into the chow hall because I knew there was like an SOP to how they ran the chow hall. I want 3 eggs over medium. They go, baby, you can only get 2. I'm like, now, wait a second. I can go over and get 27 hard-boiled eggs, but I only get 2 eggs to order. Right. Explain this to me. Right. I want to talk to the manager. Right. Here comes the chow hall manager. Well, just give him 3 fried eggs.
Just give him 3 fucking fried eggs, right. But, yeah, you know, but another thing about that, JC, what you were talking about your profession and being proficient, you don't have to. You can give your gift, you know. It is, I say this a lot. Never, ever stop becoming a student of your profession. Okay, that means you're constantly learning too. Okay, the second that you think you know everything, it's time for you to get the fuck out. Because that means that you're so arrogant that you think you're that good. I got news for you, you don't. You need to study your profession and whatever the fuck it is. you know, and I prided myself in doing that, you know, and I like to surround myself with people that I knew their shit, you know, and this may be hard to believe. Even when I was drinking, when they talked, I kept my mouth fucking shut because I knew that they had knowledge that I was going to fucking use one day. And I took from him, I took from him, I took from him, I took from him, and I put it all into my own style of leadership and my own style of knowledge, which I'm sure you all did that same thing too.
I think about, we were talking before we went live about just the pedigree of horses that were at SOI too, like Menning, Brazil, and
Vitale.
And it was so great of an environment because you had a mix and bowl of different leadership styles and strengths. And one of my absolute favorite memories, I think we talked about it at lunch, was, and the staff NCOs, we'd scratch, when things would get a little testy, we'd scratch out a bull in the ring, pull our rank out, and we'd beat the living shit out of each other. And going up against a guy like Art Menning, he was a demon.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he definitely.
Scrappy.
I'm sure he's still a badass.
I hope he sees this. I mean, but it built, working there was magical because it was a collaborative environment, and boy, you know, I just think about that was just a couple of years before the towers fell. Like nobody saw that shit coming.
Right. No.
As we're snapping shutter halves together on checkpoint 11.
Yeah, and Chip, I know you experienced some of this, but I'd be amiss not to talk about this. But you know, it was a blessing when we showed up in 3-6, and all of our Marines. I didn't have 19-year-old and 20-year-old fire team leaders. I had 22 and 23-year-old fire team leaders that were 3 years through college, working at UPS, had a job running their own company. And when the towers fell,
they came.
And my team leaders were like adult men. My squad leaders were adult men.
Absolutely.
And these were fighting motherfuckers. Absolutely. And they were good men, and they were great leaders. Had I not had them.
I watched the towers fall when I was in MESEP, and I had one radiation treatment left. I was 245 pounds. I gained 50 pounds of steroid weight. I mean, I looked like Elvis before he died. I had
eating a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Yeah, I looked like a.
I love the sideburns.
I looked like a fat boy, like a beach ball with lips. And I remember even one time I went in for radiation therapy, and I had gotten, my body had changed so much from the chemotherapy. I had what they affectionately call as moobs, man boobs.
Now hold on a second. This is about the time when you brought your nickname to light, Old Tub Goodthrust. Tub Goodthrust.
Hey, not to get weird or anything, but when those towers fell, when you were in MESEP and you were going through chemo, I'll bet you $1 million. You may not even realize this, but because those towers fell, it fired something inside of you, and I guarantee it. That helped you overcome your cancer.
Oh yeah. Well, I
guarantee it.
I had one treatment left.
You said I gotta go. I gotta get there.
That's what I think. I
gotta get there. That's right.
Isn't that every grown man would say.
I know, but you're going through chemotherapy, okay? And you're like, hey, fuck this. I gotta fuck cancer.
I said I have to get in the fight, and they BUMED, Naval Med, whatever they call it, said discharge him. He's not qualified for service. He's been through too much. And again, I love telling this story. He's an F-18 colonel. He's retired now. He said, "F those motherfuckers." And
what a badass.
Oh, I mean,
what a fucking amazing man to do that.
They commissioned me a year and a half later, and by the time BUMED caught up with all the paperwork, you're not supposed to. And I'm like,
you're already
here. I am.
Right.
Well, we try to talk about the light here, and I don't want to change this up, but I don't want to miss the point of this. This is the big reason I want to Chip on here, to talk about brotherhood and what a great friend Chip is. I got married when we were brand new drill instructors.
JC told me this story.
When was it?
And it was
March?
It was in April of 2001.
JC told me this story.
And I remember you pulled up in a convertible Mustang. You drank one beer and threw up. I said, "What the fuck? Were you drunk before you got here?" You're like, "Dude, I'm on my second round of chemo. I feel like shit, but I wouldn't miss this for the world."
Yep.
And there you were at my wedding in your blues, looking like death.
Yeah, let me tell you the story behind that too. My mom, I think you might have gotten to know my mom intermittently through the years. She was a humble woman. She worked at a rental car counter, and she knew I was going to JC's wedding, and she's like, because I didn't have a candy apple red convertible Mustang at 22% interest at Western Boulevard. She rented. I had to get that out, right? Like the young. I financed this car
with your military star
Wait,
card.
Mom works the magic.
Mom works the magic. Got me this Mustang to say, hey, because she knew I was going to take this down to your friend's wedding. And the other thing, I don't even know if you saw this, JC. A lot of cancer patients got to do this thing called Neulasta or Neupogen that generates white blood cell production in your body, so you don't, get an infection and die. And I had just done the first round of that. I'll never forget when I got out at your rehearsal or something, I stood up out of the Mustang and literally fell over because all your bones are just like the most incredible pain. But yeah, I mean, it is, but that transcends that, JC, and Bo knows this. He wasn't part of that, but it's that brotherhood. And like, it meant the world to me. Like, I knew also, selfishly enough, if I came to your wedding, it gave me a reason to live. And it kind of gives you like, hey, I have cancer and this sucks, but this is my brother and I got to keep living and I got to live to be his brother.
Isn't that amazing? That's amazing, brother. All my respect to you. That is just, you don't find many more badass stories than that.
And through the years, Chip's always kept tabs on me, giving me advice when I needed it, protected me, showed me the way. I'm grateful that I'm grateful that through my own stupid hillbilly way, I've been wise enough to find my way towards the light.
I brought him over to the dark side.
Yeah, made him an officer.
Well,
no, he made himself one.
Now, I will say this. When I see enlisted guys go off about officers, I will tell you this. When it comes to prior enlisted officers, they're one of two things.
They're either really
fucking good or
really
they fucking suck.
Yeah,
and you ask any good prior enlisted officer, and they're going to be like, yeah, that guy sucked. He probably sucked as a staff sergeant.
I would have been a great supply officer.
The sassy,
or a Cobra pilot.
I bet if you were the supply, I bet if you were the suppo, the smooth.
Man, I need to put on my hunting hat for that.
Hell yeah.
Lord Jesus!
Hell yeah!
Fuck around, boys. I got my
Coming in
Stormy
with
Cobra.
making a gun run.
Look at there, son. I'm
Hell
ready.
yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm about to have him go get that double barrel off the mantle over there.
Hell yeah!
But man, I appreciate the brotherhood, man. And you know, tonight we're all going to be holding court down there at Caleb's together, man.
Well, I won't.
I told her to make sure she had the cherry so you can have a Shirley Temple.
He's got to do his pre-flight on his Cobra tonight. Got a mission tomorrow.
Listen.
All right. Funny enough, if you had to be something else besides the infantry, because I was obviously, what would you have done, Bo? I mean, and I know you say never, not a million, but like seriously, if you had to, death is not an option, kind of moment.
If I couldn't have been an infantryman, man, I honestly have never really thought about it because to me there was no other way.
Yeah.
Putting me on the spot like that, I don't know.
Could have been an engineer, running Bangalore's down range.
That's an honorable trade.
Yeah, I don't.
It's an honorable trade.
I never thought about it, so I really can't give you that answer.
What was your grandfather?
Infantry.
Okay. All right.
If I'll give you one. If I couldn't have been a grunt, I would have wanted to have been a tanker.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been some sort of combat arms, tank, artillery, something like that. But I and not taking anything from anybody else. It's just that's the way I am. I really didn't. I was the easiest kid to put in the Marine Corps, man. I walked in, I said, yeah, I want to be an 0311. I already knew what that was. I want to carry a pack, all that shit. They say, sign right here.
Yeah. That's all. And it's hard to think about it, but looking back, if I'm like, what else would tanks. I'd have been cool with being a tanker.
Me, but, I don't know because I really never thought about it. I mean, but I don't know.
All right, speed round. What's the worst MRE you've ever eaten in your life?
Jesus. What the fuck?
You got one?
Omelet and ham.
Yeah, I don't know that.
What about the chicken?
That tuna a la king fucking fucked me up. Well, I tell you what, I'd rather eat the asshole out of a dead skunk than that motherfucker.
There was one beef with rice beef with rice, I think, in the 90s, and I remember the first time I ate it, it was all gristle.
Ham slice, chunked and formed.
No, I'll take it.
No, I just salt that bitch up, buddy.
Yeah.
Woo! I used to eat the shit out of it.
What about tuna with noodles? Throw some crackers.
No,
What about the 5 fingers of death, the weenies?
Oh, no. Oh, they had the slime hanging off them?
Okay. Second rapid fire question. Worst piece of Marine Corps uniform item, can't be camis, can't be tactical gear. We're talking dress or service in the whole realm. Does your mind go right to
mess dress?
Mess dress?
Get the fuck rid of it. You look like a fucking waiter.
Yeah, I'd have I'd have to say the mess dress too. I think they look ridiculous.
Like fucking Zorro.
Stick with the dress fucking blues, man. That's that's it.
And for us officer types, we got to rock a Sam Brown.
Oh, you got to rock a Sam Brown.
But yeah, I mean the woolly pulley. Buddy, I was a motivated young Marine. No, I'd wear a woolly pulley. I'd blouse my jeans. Woo! I'd wear that fucker out on limo. Pop that collar outside of it.
Did you ever rock the all-weather coat out in limo?
Oh, come on.
Yeah?
Buddy, come on, man.
He was probably wearing that to the club.
I had it on the other day.
Nothing on underneath.
Okay.
I bet he was walking around.
Next rapid-fire question. You're going out for a burner in Jacksonville, North Carolina. You're going to hit 3 bars or clubs on Friday night. Tell me where you're going, Bo. Go.
Yes!
Well, of course.
Now watch this. Yeah. In order.
Well, I'm gonna hit Spanky's. I'm gonna hit the Cardinal Lounge, and probably some sort of strip club.
La Mirage. You're gonna finish La Mirage.
Probably there, or down on the other end of town, in front of the Air Wing people. Toby's.
I'm going to show you how Bodette's going to do it. He's going to start at the Cardinal, see what's going on. Then he's going to go to the strip joint. He's going to stop at Spanky's and end up back at the Cardinal. Then after all that's done, you go see all the ladies from the battered wives shelter at the Kettle Diner.
I saw Alexis, Texas live.
About the old Kettle.
That's how it's done.
They had that big old fucking buffet, all that bacon. But I go in there. Best fights I've ever seen in my life were in the Kettle at about 2 or 3 in the morning.
What about the O House? Are we hitting?
Oh, buddy, I forgot about the O House. Fuck.
Yeah, but I think it closed down, man.
Well, the O House I used to kick when I was an SOI instructor.
Right.
Because I just hopped the fence and I was there.
And the gate guards were all private, so they wouldn't fuck with you.
Oh yeah, right.
What about? There's one more, Swanix. You want to go there?
No, I never really went there.
Gunny's wife divorced or what?
I never really went there because they'd be like, look at this, because they all thought that they were so much better than everybody.
Where's your collared shirt?
Where's your collared?
Get the fuck out of here.
Tuck in your shirt. What year did you? Let me see your ID card. How about this? Go fuck yourself. I don't know. Fuck. It was good. It was a nice place, but it was just too many pretend badasses in there.
Amen.
All they'd do is they'd sit in there and pound each other's chests. Me, I want to go out and drink, fight, fuck, hang out with my buddies.
Well, what did you do in SOI? Because I remember SOI, it was every weekend we'd get a hotel room at the Triangle. We'd find someone to buy us beer, and we'd just sit in there
Well, that's what I did when I was a private, because my Uncle Jimmy was a gunny. And I'd be like, hey, gunny. He'd be over there. We got called Libo. My buddies, we'd all pile into his truck. He'd drop us off at a hotel, and he'd go and he'd buy us all beers. And we'd fill the whole bathtub full of beers.
That's winning, man.
Because my uncle was a gunny, see? So, bless his heart, man. Fuck yeah, my Uncle Jimmy.
Do people call it Camp Lejeune? Inquiring minds want to know.
No.
You ever took on to that, right?
No.
The Lejeune
Lejeune wanted it to be called Lejeune. We called it Lejeune.
It's fine.
I didn't know that was ever going. I still say
Lejeune. Well, his family come to. They wanted to be Lejeune for his French shit. Lejeune. He wanted it to be Lejeune because he wanted it to sound more American.
Yeah.
So God damn it, if John A. Lejeune wanted it to be Lejeune, it's Lejeune.
Tomato, man. Don't get worked up about it. If they want to call it Lejeune, call it Lejeune.
You guys are both, for the most part, like East Coast Marines.
Oh, yeah. Without doubt.
Top 3 things to love about Camp Lejeune. Go.
You cannot escape being a Marine there.
Okay.
Okay, because like in Pendleton or whatever, you can get off base in 10 minutes, and you might not see a Marine.
Right.
Buddy, you fuck around and go into the mall at Camp Lejeune or out of Jacksonville and fuck something up. Somebody's going to know you. There's going to be a gunny. There's going to be somebody in there. Snatch your ass up and make you act accordingly.
So you can't escape.
You can't escape the Marine Corps. You got to be a Marine. You're a Marine 24 hours a day. You can't escape that shit.
JC?
West Virginia being 6.5 hours from Camp Lejeune, I brought 17 Marines up here on Liberty. 16 of them got laid. Some of them got laid multiple times by even more than one chick on the weekend. And the only one that never got laid was a tranny. So if he wouldn't decided to think that he was a woman when he was really a man, I think I would have went 17 for 17 for all the dudes I brought here.
I love Jacksonville because I did well there.
So listen, there are rules and there are exceptions.
I did well there. We're not talking to Jacksonville pigs now.
Well, look, I take the boys.
You've seen them, JC.
Hey, I took the boys from Victor 1-2. And I made so many friends, and I think I'm painting Jacksonville and Camp Lejeune as a jump-off point, right? Like you can swoop just about any Georgia, Tennessee, West Virginia. West Virginia was a honey hole. All my buddies, I even had guys from other companies go, JC, can you take me to West Virginia this weekend?
Did any of them stick? Are we going to meet them? Are they still married? Or
No. The only one that came up here and found a jewel was me.
Well, listen to this. I enlisted in Clearwater Beach, Florida, where there was everything was a party. Beautiful fucking chicks, right? And I never went home. What did that tell you? I didn't need to. Because I had a great time at Camp Lejeune.
I'm gonna say number 3, even though I didn't ask. I asked you guys. I loved being by the ocean. I did because I like being able to take the girls to the beach and do all that, and I like the water, the river.
That was all right.
Yeah, I mean,
that was all right.
Now, Bo experienced this as a company gunny, where like all the khaki pants, collared shirt lieutenants. Like I remember our XO took Bodette up there. He's like, "This is my company gunny." Now, when I'm a gunner getting ready to get out of the Marine Corps and I'm living in Charlie Company LAR's office for like my last 2 months, my lieutenants take me like it's a show and tell project. They take me up to Emerald Isle, and I'm in a bar with all these kids, and I'm like, there's all these kids in khaki shorts and collared shirts. I look at my lieutenants, I'm like, don't ever dress like that.
You're in the E Club.
Well, no, I'm like, we're all the officers, all the lieutenants hang out.
When they lived topsail?
Yeah, so they bring you up like you're like this is my big brother, this is my gunner. So all these lieutenants are like showing you off to their buddies.
When I was a gunny, they used me like I was a training aide. This is my company gunnery sergeant.
And all those lieutenants like, your gunny's fucking cool.
JC's got pleated khakis on and a
the fuck I do.
I never seen him like that. Even when he was an officer.
Well, while we're on that, let me ask, and I'm not trying to take over your guys' show.
This is you. You're the guest.
Listen.
Please give us a break.
You hear this shit all the time. Pendleton Infantry Marine or Pendleton Marines are better. Go. Are they worse or better? Because I think that's just bullshit.
I think it's absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit. It depends. It comes down again to basic leadership.
Right.
How good a unit's going to be depends on their leadership.
Look, Marines are going
to be Marines no matter where the fuck they're at, right?
Marines are always ready to go and do what's necessary.
Right.
But I will tell you, you used to have 9 infantry battalions there. Now you got 8 in Camp Lejeune plus recon, LAR, engineers. At any given time, I could go down there, and two or three of those units are going to be absolutely fucking amazing. Right? I guarantee. Not to say that the other ones are bad, but you got 2 or 3 that are like amazing. I guarantee if I went to Pendleton 29 Palms, I'd see the same fucking thing. It really depends on the tone that the commander sets, and if he has, and if his big 5. His XO, his gunner, his sergeant major, his master guns, and OPSO. If they're all good and all that's hitting, sky's the fucking limit, man.
Yep.
So I would say
I agree with that 100%.
That is not.
I agree. I agree with that.
Not
100%.
restricted by geography.
Yeah, right. That's the best way to put it.
The last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, or pick your brains about, or at least just make a statement about, is when my platoon went to Iraq in 2004. We had 35 vehicles. Gun trucks. Most of them were the old 1044s, up armored, hillbilly armor. We're filling sandbags, putting steel plates in them.
Yep.
We used to call them Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
We did what we had to do.
Did it? Because we just talked about. Remember, we were talking a few minutes ago about like Checkpoint 11, snapping shelter halves together, and how quickly we went to war, and how quickly the gear had to catch up. That kind of pisses me off when I think about it. That we had shit when we went to war.
Only thing I can say is thank God we were Marines.
Yep.
Okay? Because we made it happen. I remember us riding down the road, when we had a vehicle, it looked like Sanford and Son coming down the goddamn road.
Well,
we were in combat. In Afghanistan, we had doors on our Hummers.
Yeah, thank God for the SF
we
guys.
We didn't even have Hummers, remember?
Yeah.
We had the Special Forces guys had
GMVs. They call them GMVs.
And they gave them to us. We didn't have 50 cals on some. They gave us 50 cal. I mean, we had to adapt. We sandbagged the bottom of our floor. The Army's riding around in these big up armored shit. They got all this cool gear. Yeah, but why are we always getting the fucking hardest missions? Yeah. I'm not taking anything away from anybody.
Yeah, we didn't
because we're fucking Marines. We didn't give a shit. We made it happen.
We also had a gunny that flew into Al Assad and took half the gear out of the SMU. That also helped us. So that's how we got fleeces and knives.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, the SMU.
I got my own helos, buddy.
Yeah, I love that story. I think that's the right story.
I disappeared for about 3 days.
Fucking Marine gunny handling fucking business, buddy.
That's a whole other story.
My platoon had about 2 months in. We were IED'd more than a handful of times, and we had an Army Reserve unit come in. And I remember they came up to us and they said, "Well, we're gonna just convoy up ASR 10," and it's like, "Whoa,
hey,
that road
slow your roll, Hoss."
Take it down there, gunpowder.
Easy, Tiger. Easy, Sarge. And we were finding these VS 2.2 anti-tank mines, Italian anti-tank mines, every day. So the Army, the good-willing Army guy, we pumped the brakes on that. Anyway, we got them right seat, left seated the right way. We took them out a couple times, so they would. And Army Marines aside, they're fellow U.S.
Right, absolutely.
Not going to do them dirty, right?
Right.
Well, get this. They're like, well, do you mind if we leave our up armors here till the main body gets back in 4 months? Oh, no. I don't mind.
They're going to leave that good gear for you?
Yeah, they left.
You know what? Yeah. That's like somebody when I was a Lance Corporal. Wait, I can write a check?
Yeah. So, listen, this is what I love about the Marine Staff NCO, because I was a Staff NCO for a short minute. MESEP, non-competitive, I get to claim it. And I didn't even have to look at my gunny, and I already saw the wheel. Yeah. And I got
dollar signs are in his eyes.
Hey, Bo, I got one of these nods, like, I got it, sir. And anyway, we took those trucks and we put more miles on those things. And then the day they left, if you've seen cars, what they look like on blocks, those Humvees were just skeleton, because we took the radio mounts out. We took everything out of them. But anyway, I've always thought, all the way back to the original subject of how gear, we went from snapping shelter halves, and I love using that example, Marines digging around the shelter half, to we're getting, what are they called? PEC 2 alphas were the thing back then, and new nods and all kinds of new stuff, but it was just so damn late.
When I was a company gunny in Iraq, I got shipments of new gear sometimes, and a lot of times, you know what I did with it? Kept it. I just kept it away from the Marines. Because it's the Marines don't need to learn when they're in the middle of fucking combat on some new shit that just come in when we're doing good anyway. We're kicking fucking ass. Okay, my Marines are kicking ass right now. I know we're not using that. Fuck you. I ain't even gonna tell anybody that we have it. And if I knew the Marines needed it and I knew that they could use it, then they got it. Yeah. But I just didn't give them cool gear just to have cool gear.
And I think if you raise good, disciplined Marines, and this probably goes for anything, right? You can afford to give them things that are going to make them comfortable to recover. You don't want them to make comfort-based decisions and get too comfortable.
Right.
But if I can get them, instead of sleeping on plywood, I can get them a mattress and a fucking pillow. Right. Do that.
Yeah,
if I can get an AC, get them an AC.
Right.
But if I got something that they have to train to and use to fight, but I don't have time to train it to use it right, you don't dare give that out to them.
That's exactly what I thought. Exactly.
If they're going to carry it into the battle, and they don't know how to use it.
By God, they're going to know how to use it.
They're going to know how to use it.
They're going to be familiar with it. They're going to know how to kill somebody with it. They're going to know how to stay alive with it.
Yep.
Okay?
That matters.
That's what matters. Because I knew what my Marines knew what to do with their gear. When they get this new shit in, I'm like, I don't know about this. We're getting ready to go on a patrol here. We got a 1400. You want me to pass this gear out to them? Go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Ain't going to happen.
One thing I remember we did, and I certainly don't need a NAM for this, but we took... the 50 cal we had the TVS 5s, the old Starlight scopes,
big old fucking thing.
I mean, 50 pounds, couldn't see your hand in front of your face. What we did was we just took the mount from the TVS 5 and put a PEC 2 alpha on it. Now, one would think laser guided machine gun, no, but more of when we were riding along and my gunner was looking at something or something, I could say, hey, he's
lays
got his
for
turret.
me.
Yeah, like lays it, and you could hey, this is where I'm seeing the turret. So it's just funny too how Marines adapt to everything.
I was about to tell you that shit like that is not taught.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the art.
That is something that is embedded in you starting from the first day. You're going to make something happen. Somebody looked at that and said, I could do this and I could do that with this.
That's how we taught, I think, though.
That's how we taught, and that set us apart.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's how you teach that too, man. You got to be able to adapt. If you can't adapt, you're dead.
What's the most Camp Lejeune story you got, JC Night on Liberty? Or either heard as a staff NCO, a gunner, somebody?
No, I lived this one live. I lived this live and in color, buddy. We had this guy, and I hope he's still alive. Let me shut that damn phone off. Thomas Jason Center. I don't know where he's at or if he's alive out there, but this crazy son of a bitch, if it had a hole and a heartbeat, he was putting his pecker in it. Well, we're down there. What's the country bar down there? Down by
Tar Heel.
Tar Heel.
Buddy, he gets over to the Tar Heel, and somehow he gets mixed up with this girl that's missing a leg and has a tube coming out of her chest. He fucks this bitch. Now, he lied and said he was in 1-6 and not in 1-2. Well, she was smart. She had a brain. She didn't have a leg. But she had a brain. She sat there at that Greyhound station and watched him walk to 1-2 Alpha Company's barracks. The next day, we're in formation. Company gunny's holding formation. All of a sudden, you hear a click, click. Here comes this bitch with one leg. She goes, I'm here looking for Tom Center, buddy. And the whole company's in formation. And we all know this dirty. I brought him to West Virginia. He got laid one time. We had a 72. He got laid on a Friday, got a blowjob on a Saturday, and got laid again on a Sunday. And I don't think he showered the whole time, buddy. But anyway, he comes from the Tar Heel, and he fucked a bitch missing a leg with a tube coming out of her chest. Now, if you're out there and missing a leg and got a tube, I'm not discriminating. I'm just telling you. Yeah,
I am going to go ahead and I'm respectfully going to decline to answer that question. Okay, yeah.
So best one I got is unfortunately a PMO. I did a short prison term at PMO as a watch commander, and believe it or not, there's great staff NCOs and the MPs. And one of my staff, my watch sergeant said, "Sir, you don't respond to calls. You don't go into enlisted. You just drive around all night. And
you don't roll up in the ghetto.
Don't do anything, right?" And because I always remember driving into Watkins Village was kind of like driving your car into like Mount Town. You know, you're like waiting for the smoke grenade to roll out. So I remember Staff Sergeant was at the Naval Hospital. Why? Because his wife just went into labor. So he's on duty, and like we're trying to figure out. Well, he's got to drop his gear. His wife's, whatever. And I think we were a little short that night. We get a call the night before Mischief Night, Midway Park. Remember that place?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember.
It's the night before. It's Mischief Night. Yeah, that's what it is. Mischief Night, so the night before Halloween. And I roll up on scene and doing all the things I'm not supposed to do. And don't go to calls, don't do this. And I see these two Marines. They got a couple cinder blocks, a ramp, and some pumpkins. And they were jumping their car to, like, smash the pumpkins. Pretty smart idea, right? Right in the middle of Midway Park. And so I call out, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, what is this stuff? And you know how when you walk up to people or, like, in a tense environment, you can see who wants to scrap.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell if they want to.
You can feel it.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
And the one was, like, a submissive. Like, he's like, oh, PMOs. And the other kid, I'll never forget, he's about 5'0", had a shirt on the back. It said McGinnis champion. And I'm thinking, and it had some wrestling. Yeah, I'm like, he's a wrestler, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he's the aggressive one. So I get his his
spouse.
Yeah, his spouse and his buddy in the car. And now I'm dealing with this kid, and this kid, I get him to sit in the car, and I'm trying everything I can because I'm a first lieutenant. I'm about to get in a wrestling match with a lance corporal, right? This has got like.
And you did what you were told not to do.
So he starts digging in his pockets. Now, mind you.
Uh-oh.
Cop car shows up Midway Park. I got a whole stadium of people watching, all young enlisted.
They're all Marines.
All Marines and their wives. He's digging in his pockets, and I'm thinking, get your hands out of your pockets, doing the cop thing.
Right.
He doesn't listen. I reach down, grab his wrist, and I'm trying to get him in an arm bar to take him down. And me and him are in this pitch battle for right or for wrong. And I felt like it took, it was like he was a strong little sucker. Out of the night, I don't even know where he came from. I didn't hear him call on station with his radio. Staff Sergeant Calder comes and throws an elbow in the kid's back, and it is on. We are beaten, we're this little. We're taking a couple shots, and anyway, I remember getting up, putting my cover on, and man, we got him cuffed. And I look over, and there's his wife holding his little baby.
Oh my God!
And she's bawling, and I'm like, "Yep, my career's over." Staff sergeant to lieutenant, MESEP, all this shit flushed down the tube, and I walk up to the wife, and I say, "Ma'am, I'm sorry you had to see that." And guess what she says? He deserved it.
Hey,
I said, yeah, he did.
Will you say that at my court martial?
That's why I say, will you write a statement to it?
Could you write that down and sign in here?
Anyway, I'll sum up the story. In the process of apprehending this guy, we took his cell phone, we put it on top of the car because we're cleaning out his pockets. Anyway, I'm driving. It was my car or whatever. We're driving out, and I hear clunk clunk after we cleared the scene. I'm like, what the hell was that? Well, turns out I didn't realize the staff sergeant put his cell phone up there, and it had gotten wedged in my light bar and all this. Yeah. Fast forward, we release the kid to his OD. I walk out to my patrol car. It's like 2 a.m. I see this cell phone sticking out of my roof. I'm like, oh, this is belt buckles. Let me take it to the barracks film. And sure as shit, when I pull up, walking up to the OD hut, we got a squirter. Guess who it is? McGinnis champion. He's running away from the barracks. So that to me just typified everything that happened at Lejeune was just nuts, man. You know?
Yeah, Lejeune was nuts, man. I mean, it was nuts. It literally was a fucking sane asylum in a good way.
Do you remember all those bars in front of Camp Geiger? There was at least 5 or 6.
The bunker.
Buddy, I used to hit every one of them now. Every one of them. Oh, yeah, you can drink nickel drafts.
Hoskins used to hit them.
Me and Kenny.
We'd had to fish them out of there, I think, a few times.
I remember field day. I remember field day in 1-2, and I don't know if it was 3-2 or 2-2, but I hear a ruckus on a Thursday evening, and I'm like, look off the third deck of the catwalk, weapons platoon. I look, and there is a goddamn black bear running for its fucking life across the quad. And there's like 20 drunk Marines with trash cans, broomsticks, whiskey bottles. They're chasing a fucking black bear, drunk. This poor fucking, you can tell it's gassed, man. And there's like 20 drunk Marines with an assortment of Mad Max weapons chasing this poor fucking bear.
A bear.
If it was nowadays, it'd be fucking TikTok famous. This fucking bear. Just to get it. There's a bunch of drunk, hey, get that motherfucker. I'd have shit if that son of a bitch had turned around and went on him.
That reminds me of when every time somebody says, "Oh, thank you for your service," they say it in like a pitiful kind of like, "I'm sad for you."
Time of my life.
Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, and then I think about the men in all MOSs that volunteer to take the oath and say, "I'll chase a bear through the quad or chase a bad guy down a culvert or whatever." And that's who you want defending your country, right?
I'll screw a girl missing a leg and a tube kind of out of her chest. I did it for America.
What'd she say when she got to the barracks? You didn't
She
finish that
said
story.
she was looking for Tom Center.
What, did he get her pregnant, or what was the
No,
story?
he fucked her and then lied. He said he was in 1-6 and he was in 1-2.
And she was coming after him. Oh, man. Well, to sum it up, man, I really appreciate you being here. I mean, this has been an honor for you to be here, and I'm definitely going to read your book, and I'm extremely proud to know you. And
me too.
God bless you, and God bless you and your families for the rest of your life, because you deserve every good thing that's come to you.
Amen.
You definitely deserve a life of peace and goodness.
Well, we're going to have a good time tonight, too.
And, hey, we got round 2 coming this evening, buddy, so it's going to be real good.
I don't think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to stay home and snuggle up to a good book.
You lying bastard.
You want to hold it up and plug it one more time?
Hey, everybody, again, our good friend, retired Captain Chip Hampshire, the Signal Hill Warrior. Where can they find this book, Chip?
Amazon, 4.9 stars out of 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
Somebody cheated you by not giving you 5 stars.
Good people
hey,
review it.
Check it out. We love our brother Chip. Chip, I'm looking forward to this evening, and it's an honor to have you on the show, brother.
Thank you, sir, for coming. This is awesome, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you being here.
I'm JC.
And I'm Bo.
And I'm Chip.
And we'll catch you next go-round.
Out here.